Greetings buddies, let's take a look at the timeline tools in Final Cut Pro. Okay, so I've got an empty timeline here, and let's start with this clip. Got some nature footage. Okay, so to put it on the timeline, I can simply select the clip and press E, and that gives us what's called an append edit. I always think E for end, because it basically puts it on the end of the primary storyline. Okay, so here we go. So we've got this on our main timeline here. Okay, and so if I want to add a clip after this, I can select a clip. If I press E, okay, that clip goes on the end. But there are other ways to add another clip, and we've got them down here. So this one, this third one along, where I'm hovering here, that's our append. So going in order, this one here, I take this, if I hit Q, that'll do a connected clip. So that goes as a clip over the top, and the clip continues underneath. Okay, useful for cutaways, or if you want to blend two clips together, we could change the blend mode or opacity. Okay, so we can do that. I'll just undo that. Another option is to take this clip or part of the clip and do what's called an insert edit. Okay, so Q is the shortcut for connect, and W is the shortcut for insert, or we can just click here. So if I hit the W, you'll see what happens on the timeline. The timeline is going to get longer. It's going to cut this clip, this mounting clip, to make space for the new clip, and the mounting clip will carry on afterwards. So wherever I put my playhead here, that's where the clip's going to go. So press that, hit W, boom. You see the timeline has now got longer because it's inserted our clip. Okay, all good so far. Now, I could also do something called an overwrite edit, and that won't cut the clip, it will just take a section out of the clip to make space for the new clip, so the timeline won't get any longer. So when I do the same thing, and this time press D, which will give us an overwrite edit, okay, you'll notice on the timeline it stays the same length. It just cuts a chunk out of this clip for the new clip to go. So I'll position my playhead where I want the clip to go, press D. There you go. The timeline's still the same length. We've basically written over the middle section of this clip with our new clip. Okay, so let's take a couple more clips here. So to take a section of a clip, let's say I just want this section here. Okay, I can scrub through to see. So I'm going to start where our friendly seal here is swimming in, and if I press I, okay, that's going to give me an in point, and there we go, a bit of that, and that could be my out point, and I'll press E to put that on the end. Okay, and now let's say we're going to take another section of this little fella here, lovely stuff, in, and a bit of punching there going on, all lovely, and put that on the end. So I've got a couple of clips here on the end. Okay, and now I'm just going to select the wrong bit of this clip, and you'll see why in a moment. I'm just putting in here and out here. I'm going to put that on the end. Now I'm going to make my timeline a little bigger so we can see what we're doing. So I can do that with this little button here. And I could also use to make my timeline bigger and smaller. Now it's too big, so if I do Shift minus, Command minus will give me a smaller, or Command and plus bigger. Okay, so everything's nice and visible now. Okay, so let's take a look at these tools here. So I've got my selection tool, that's our default tool, and the shortcut for that is A. So let's say I move this clip, you'll see what happens. Okay, it just moves it around and makes space for it, and if I put it on above, it'll put like a blank placeholder there. But if I move clips about with the selection tool, let's just get rid of that, just on the primary storyline. Okay, if I pull a clip this way, okay, move it to here, say, it'll juggle the clips around. Okay, so I can't kind of put it in the middle of this. Won't let me do that. It'll just move the clips to make space for it. So we're kind of limited what we can do with the selection tool. I can drag clips longer or shorter. Okay, but what we're going to be left with is it's always going to kind of push the other clips out to make space for it. Okay, so that's the limitations of that tool. I can basically change the order of clips. Okay, but I haven't got complete freedom to do everything that I want. So we've got some other tools here. So say if I want to just move a clip, okay, I can use the position tool. So position here, P, and now I can actually say I take this clip, I can actually move that just into there. Okay, and now I've been able to overwrite that clip. I can also take a clip, and whereas before with the selection tool it would snap back, I can take that and move that there. So I might want to add something in here later. And Final Cut never leaves a gap on the timeline, it always places a blank clip. So it's a little different to some other, say Premiere for example, we'll just have a gap. But that's just the way it works. I can delete that and it'll all go back. Alright, so we've also got here, what's very useful is our trim tool. The shortcut's T. Okay, and what this lets us do is we can change the edit point between two clips. So if I just click in between, you'll see we get these two lines. So we get these two yellow brackets. So when I've got that selected, I can move where the clip cuts from one to the other clip, and you can see in this window here you get a little viewer which shows you the end of the outgoing clip and the start of the incoming clip, so you can kind of match those up. Now what's also useful is when you hover over the center of the clip, and this is why I made the whale the wrong part of the clip, I can actually kind of change, there we go, I can move the clip so that our original in and out points are altered. So now I can see in the left window, that's our first frame, and in the right window, that's our end frame. So I can now adjust this so that the whale starts, the start of the clip is the whale coming out of the water, and we end with a big splash, and everything is hunky-dory. Okay. And then finally, we'll just look at the range selection tool, or the blade as well. So if I wanted to cut, say, a chunk out of a clip, I could select a range, okay, and just hit backspace, and that will cut that. Okay, or I could also select a range, and say I wanted to put another clip in here. Let's take some fish. Okay, and if I then do a insert here, or okay, that's going to, I'll do an overwrite. Click that. That's just going to overwrite that just to that section of clip that I've selected. So if I select a smaller bit of clip, click on this and do an overwrite, it's just going to take not the whole bit that I've selected, just enough to fill that range on the timeline. Okay, so I'll just undo that. So the range selection lets us select a range that we can fill or cut. Okay, or even in other tutorials we can look at how we can use a range to adjust the time. Alright, and then also we've got our blade tool B, which simply lets us take a clip. I can cut that clip now into two chunks. I can go back to my selection tool, and now I can take that clip and move it there. So the blade tool, very straightforward, just razor blades the clip. So that's just a little brief example there of some of the tools that are useful on the timeline, and I hope that will be of use to you. Thanks for watching.